Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me over here. All right, I have an update regarding California's Governor Gavin Newsom and the recall that is going on to get rid of Gavin Newsom. This update is going to go over some of the vaccine updates, California's coronavirus numbers, basically things that Newsom is publishing and releasing in hopes to lower the petition signs. But basically everyone is saying, too little too late, Newsom, too little too late. Once again, this isn't even a Republican versus Democrat or right versus left. This is just California residents standing up, sticking together, caring for our state, our beautiful, for the most part, sunny California. Right now, I'm staring out my window at the moment. It is beautiful. It's, what month are we in? Beginning of March, 75 degrees out. It's Friday, everyone's happy, smiling, but the one thing that you keep hearing about is, when is Governor Gavin Newsom getting recalled? When do we get our new governor? There has been talk, this is just, word of mouth talk. We want Donald Trump Jr. to become our new governor. Do you think this could happen? Do you think we can persuade Donald Trump Jr. to become our California governor? That'd be pretty sweet, wouldn't it? All right, let me get to this article right now. Before I do, like, share, subscribe, comment below. I really appreciate it. So thank you all for joining me, and let's get right into this. Okay, the pandemic fueled the Newsom recall. Will vaccines help him survive? Probably not, Newsom. Probably not. All right, California's coronavirus rates are now among the nation's lowest, and schools are starting to reopen with vaccinated teachers. Interesting, Gavin, interesting. It's good news for the state and several weeks too late for Governor Gavin Newsom. The effort to oust the California Democrat coincided with the pandemic's most dire phase here. Timing allowed recall proponents to gather hundreds of thousands of signatures as businesses and schools were closed. Pandemic fatigue was deep, and Californians were dying in record numbers from COVID-19. Newsom is banking on life looking much different when voters weigh in this fall. But the recall is very likely to qualify this month. Frustration and anger could give way to relief if vaccines help revive the economy and schools. And Newsom opponents could be deprived of their most potent argument. In quotes. The likelihood is once schools are reopening, once people can go back to business as usual, being able to go back out in public without a mask when you want, wow, unheard of, right? This will be a bad memory that people will just as soon put behind them. This is from a Democratic strategist who, is obviously trying to back up Gavin Newsom. The governor has signaled, okay, before I get into this paragraph here, no, we will not just move on and forget about everything that Gavin Newsom has put us through while he's been our governor for the past, over a year, since our state has been completely shut down, schools closed. You're not even supposed to go to the park or to the beach when, fresh air is how healthy for our soul? Immensely healthy. Okay, let me get on. The governor has signaled that the road to political survival runs through vanquishing the virus. As he tours the state touting vaccination progress, Newsom has heralded the bright light of recovery on the near horizon. At your perfect timing, though, that's our issue, okay? An email to donors last week detailed progress and noted moving California closer to the end of this health care and economic crisis was Newsom's first, second, and third priority. We are not where we will be in a number of months, but we are getting closer every single hour of every single day, the governor said at a Friday press conference. We are starting to reopen, he added. Stay-at-home order was lifted. Schools are going back into session. Businesses are starting to open up. just as our numbers hit 1.9 million signatures to recall you, sir. Even if he gets a handle on the virus, Newsom is far from being in the clear. California's summer and fall are rarely free of problems anymore between wildfires, smoke-filled air, and blackouts that frustrate residents in non-pandemic times. California is likely facing a drought to boot. Yeah, summers here are difficult. Governors aren't necessarily responsible for fires or pandemics or vaccine supply, said Dan Newman, a political advisor to the governor, but voters hold you largely responsible for everything, while at the same time understanding things like the supply of vaccine or forest fires aren't things you created. Newsom's political fortunes have closely tracked the pandemic's arc. His approval rating soared to a record high in the early days when his decisive actions were drawing national plaudits as other states saw hospitals overrun with COVID-19 patients. They plummeted in the fall and winter as the simmering frustration pervaded the state. His attendance at an early November dinner with lobbyists at the elite French Laundry angered residents who were tired of abiding by business restrictions for months. Yeah, I'm sure you all heard this, but those of you that aren't from California and have not followed our state and our closures, Newsom ordered, I think it was either the second or third, I think it was the second, closure of restaurants. Like starting, he basically came out saying, we're closing now. This is coming into like full effect tomorrow. Yet that evening, he went out unmasked into a restaurant with way more people than he should have been with, eating, laughing, and of course, paparazzi or whoever, standby viewers, took photos and published those, and then he came out with this huge apology. I mean, fake apology is what everyone was saying. It's just, we're sick and tired of the hypocrisy. Like, if you're gonna mandate, at least follow your own rules that you're putting in place, right? Okay, let me get back into it. Okay, so case rates grew worse over the holidays, and Newsom imposed a stay-at-home order as he as he tried to stop a coronavirus train that led to record infection and disease rates in California. Some school districts were only days away from reopening, but had to shelve those plans for months, resulting in a parental winter of discontent. Yeah, that's for sure. Newsom's woes came as a conservative recall proponents won a 4-month extension from a Sacramento judge that went unnoticed by most for days, if not weeks. Okay. The Berkeley poll, run by one of California's 2 most veteran pollsters, found that Newsom's approval rating had plummeted among all adults. The Public Policy Institute of California survey, run by other long-term pollsters, found voters were more sympathetic to Newsom despite the state's problem. Voters are very much in the here and now in terms of giving credit and blame to their elected officials. The political wild card this year for the governor's recall is where things stand in terms of the spread of the virus and the rate of vaccination later in this year. Yeah, a lot of his problems are self-inflicted. The pandemic obviously is not his fault, but the governor did not have to dine at the French Laundry. And they went on arguing that often political careers turn on very specific, unexpected events. Recall backers argue that the pandemic is just one factor driving dissatisfaction with Newsom. Yes, this is so true. The pandemic is like, I can't say it's small, but in the grand scheme of everything that we're trying to recall Gavin Newsom for, it's just one little area. They say Californians will not soon forget the scandal-plagued state unemployment department, which has given billions of taxpayer dollars to fraudsters as Californians contend with delays and missed payments. California Republicans on Capitol Hill have hammered the issue. Is that EDD scandal going to go away or become larger? I'm guessing it will become larger, said Ann Dunsmore, who manages one of the 2 committees championing the recall. With summer coming and all of the natural disasters looming over Newsom, as it does for every California governor in the past, Even before the coronavirus engulfed his agenda, Newsom had already contended with record-setting wildfires, outages spurred by heat waves, rolling blackouts as a fire precaution, in the bankruptcy of the state's largest electrical utility. Do you guys remember that? That was so recent. Another summer of early fall of smoky skies and evacuated residents fleeing flames could sour the electorate's mood as a campaign reaches its climax. In California's only, this is the in quotes, gubernatorial recall in 2003, former Governor Gray Davis was hammered for the state's energy crisis after residents lost power without any clear explanation at the time. The problems were found to have resulted largely from energy market manipulation by Enron Corporation and other players under a deregulated system established before Davis was governor, but critics said he should have responded sooner. So basically they're saying that although these crises don't, they're not caused by our governors, the way that the governor responds to it plays a huge role in the way that residents will respond and respect and appreciate our governors. Off-year elections tend to favor Republican candidates because loyal conservative voters turn out more predictably. But Newsom may have tempered an expected drop in Democratic participation by signing into law a bill that requires elections officials to mail every registered active voter a ballot this year. A similarly mail-based 2020 presidential election produced record turnout in California, and Republicans are already sounding the alarm. Just as the recall against Governor Gavin Newsom looks more likely to qualify for the ballot, the Sacramento politicians are playing more games. An email from a conservative group warned last week in an email blast headline, "Bad news on the CA recall." But a general desire to move beyond the tumultuous, wrenching last year could also work in the governor's favor. Newsom's allies have stressed that a recall election would be an attention-sucking disaster that detracts from recovery efforts. An aversion to chaos could incline voters toward the status quo. And then ending with, I think Californians have a diminished appetite for uncertainty and turmoil in their everyday lives, including who's governing the states. All right, so what do you guys think? How do you feel? Do you think Governor Gavin Newsom is going to just skate by the recall, or do you think it's actually going to be put in place? Lots of talk about, his Aunt Nancy Pelosi coming up with a big scheme and saving his behind. Let's have a discussion below. Thanks for watching. If you're not already, please subscribe, like, share. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon.